Let's talk about Dr. Dre, Jimmy Iovine, and how you can be a defiant one in this episode of The Ambitious Life.
I'm a man on a mission.
My mission in life is how can I put amazing things out into the world so that I can pay it forward to the next generation. I'm just here to help you so that you can do and fulfill whatever mission that you have in your life.
So last night, I'm laying in bed, getting ready to go to sleep, and I put on this documentary called The Defiant Ones. I think it's part 1 of 4 or something like that, but I put on part 1, and it's about Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre. And I grew up on Dr. Dre. Like, I knew everything about these guys. Like, when the Straight Outta Compton movie came out, like, I was an NWA guy, I was a Death Row guy, and I know this is weird if you're like, you know, Greg, you're talking about like gangster rap right now, but I was so into this and so into this movement, and I don't know why. It just was the music and the people and the environment that I surrounded myself with. So I grew up with this. And now seeing how Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine, who runs Interscope Records, and together they have Beats by Dre, Beats headphones together, and seeing how they came together was incredible. And what's weird in this video, I'm not going to talk about Dr. Dre, I want to talk about Jimmy Iovine. So the story that they were telling in the documentary was the fact that when he was going to go work on the docks with his dad, and it was going to be, he wanted nothing to do with it. And so he went to college. As soon as he graduated college, he needed to get a job, or else he was going to go back to the docks and work with his dad. And he didn't want to go to the docks, and he didn't want to work with his dad. Not because he didn't love his dad, but he didn't want to work on the docks. He thought he was meant for something greater. So he knew a musician, called up the musician and said, hey, I can get you a job sweeping floors in a studio. And you always hear that, like back in the olden days, like they just get a job sweeping the studio. And guess what? He got fired. He got fired fast. I think like near immediately he got fired fast. So he called his musician friend again, and she got him another job at another recording studio, and it was a 90-day trial period. So he had 90 days to prove it, you know, to the guys that he was worth the job. And on day 89, guess what happened? He got fired again. Fired again. 2 studio jobs, 2 times fired. So he's driving home on day 89, and he's all depressed, and he again calls his musician friend and says, I just got fired again. And she says, before you even, you know, get home, stop by this other studio. He stops by this other studio, and they put him on the boards, or they put him on like tape or whatever that they put him on. And he just started working. He was working dog hours, and he was working long days, and he was getting paid nothing. And then it was Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday, he got a call. I guess they called like the home phone then, back in the day. So they gave him a call, and it was Easter Sunday, and they said, we need you in the studio today. We need you to work today. And he turns to his mom and his dad and all his aunts and uncles, and everybody's at the house, and he says, I gotta go to work. And mom's like, but it's Easter Sunday. And I think that's what a lot of us would say. It's what I would say, like, it's Easter Sunday. I'm not going to work today. It was Easter Sunday. And he tells everyone he has to leave, and he's not gonna have Easter Sunday dinner with the family. He gets to the studio, and John Lennon is in the studio. And the studio boss at the time said, I just wanted to see if you would show up. It was a test. And John Lennon was in the studio that day. Turned into another relationship, and all of a sudden he shows up to another day of work out of the blue, and it's Bruce Springsteen. And at the time, Jimmy Iovine was just working on, basically he just started and stopped the tape. All he had to do was hit start and stop, and then when they filled up the tape, he had to put a new tape on. That was his only job on this with this guy, Bruce Springsteen. And one day, the engineer didn't show up. The engineer is the one that actually like does all the hard stuff and the big knobs and stuff, and the engineer doesn't show up. And Bruce Springsteen and the guy that runs the studio said, hey, do you want to fill in? And Jimmy Iovine's like, yeah, I guess, like he didn't know what to do, but he stepped up. He rose to the occasion, and now he is the engineer on Bruce Springsteen's album, Born to Run. Think of that. John Lennon on Easter Sunday, because he showed up to work on a day when no one else wanted to show up to work. Stepped up to be an engineer when he didn't really know how to engineer, and all of a sudden he's the producer on Born to Run, right? One of the biggest rock albums of all time. And I tell you this because so many of us, we give up after one opportunity. We give up after 2 opportunities. We give up after 3 opportunities. We don't step up when we rise to the occasion. You can say that he got lucky that John Lennon was in the studio that day, but he also very easily could have said, I'm not coming in, it's Easter Sunday. How many of you would do that? How many of you on Christmas Day, you get the call from the boss and you don't show up to work? Well, what if your John Lennon was waiting for you? What if you just want to go through the motions? You want to go through your 9 to 5. You want to just show up and do the work that's presented to you, and an opportunity comes up and you're like, nah, I'm good, I'm comfortable. We don't want to be comfortable. We want to be stretched outside of our comfort zones, and that's what Jimmy Iovine did. And then, 30, 40 years later, whatever it is, he sells Beats with Dr. Dre to Apple for $3 billion, all because he showed up to work on an Easter Sunday. All because when he got fired from one opportunity, he went to the next opportunity. When he got fired from that opportunity, before he even got home, he was in another studio trying to work there. What are the opportunities that are right in front of you that you're not taking advantage of? How can you become a defiant one? I'll tell you. Take more opportunity. Take opportunity. Say yes to more things. Say yes because you don't know where that's going to lead you. You have no idea where that's going to lead you. This whole ambitious adventures thing, I have no idea where that was going to lead me, right? So it started with taking an opportunity to go to the Dominican Republic and, filming a documentary with my partner, Nick. Then it was an opportunity to speak at this random guy, Brandon T. Adams, go to Iowa, hang out with him. And then it was me saying, hey, why don't you come down to Orlando and let's hang out for the day? Random opportunity. Random opportunity to find my crew. Random opportunity to find some of the people in the show. Random opportunity, I'm auditioning for a reality show, and the person that I'm co-auditioning with introduces me to somebody, an entrepreneur, who now that's, my videos are all entrepreneur, and we're about to sell our show to entrepreneur, all because of saying yes. Because you don't know where opportunity is going to lead you. You have to be open to opportunity. You can't shut people out. You have to be putting yourself out there. You got to be creating these videos. You got to be putting out content. You got to do all that. But if you want to be a defiant one, if you want to be a game changer, if you want to be ambitious, you gotta say yes. You do that, you have a shot to live a more ambitious life. Hey, if you love that episode of The Ambitious Life, I want to hook you up with a copy of this, the latest issue of Thought Leader magazine. And in it, I share how you can create a media empire while you grow your business. Just head on over to ambitious.com/magazine and I will hook you up.